Hey everyone, Colin here, resident nerd and Bible scholar at the Bible Uncut and Unfiltered. And we have had a little bit of an ongoing series talking about some of the stuff that I wish I had known when I first became a Christian. One of them is this simple statement: the devil doesn't care about you. That's it. The devil does not care about you. I know that might sound harsh, and maybe even unspiritual to some of you, but stick with me, because this might actually be one of the most freeing truths that you will hear this week. And it is going to change how you see everyday frustrations and disappointments in your life. Growing up in church, I heard this kind of language all the time. The devil is really tempting me right now. The devil didn't want me to read my Bible today. The devil wants me to be discouraged, but I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. Now, we didn't say stuff like, the devil made me do it. We weren't that unsophisticated. But we absolutely believe that the devil was personally involved in making our lives difficult. Lost your keys and showed up late to church? The devil. Had a bad attitude during worship? The devil attacks you. Forgot to do your devotions for the day? Spiritual warfare. Honey, do you really think that the Prince of Darkness, who supposedly has to thwart God's cosmic plans across the entire universe, knows your name, much less orchestrated you losing your keys? Now, if you want to go all screw tape letters and say that some lower level demon is assigned to make your life tough, whatever, fine. But think about this with me for a second. Should we really be attributing every bad thing in our lives to malevolent evil? Sometimes bad stuff just happens in life. Not because the devil targeted you specifically, but because we live in a fallen world where things break, people make mistakes, bodies get sick, and random chaos is just a part of existence. You didn't lose your keys because of spiritual warfare. You lost them because you were distracted when you put them down, and that's it. And I know that sounds too simple of an explanation, but there's really no precedent in Scripture for the devil or even demons singling out everyday Christians and making their lives difficult on a daily basis. To be fair, we do see it happen sometimes with main characters, like Jesus gets tempted by the devil in the wilderness. Paul talks about a messenger of Satan. That's not necessarily Satan specifically, but he does say a messenger of Satan that tormented him. Job, right? He gets absolutely wrecked in this cosmic bet between God and the Satan. But these are exceptional cases. They are not the rule. These are protagonists of the biblical narrative. And assuming that they then tell us exactly what our life will be like is like assuming that everyone in Star Wars had a life as interesting as Luke Skywalker. Just because Darth Vader personally went after Luke doesn't mean that he knew the name of every rebel soldier or cared about their individual existence. Most people in the galaxy were just living their lives, not engaged in epic cosmic battles with Sith Lords. We are not the main characters of history, and that's actually okay. Just because Jesus was personally tempted by the devil or Paul had his thorn in the flesh doesn't mean that that is the normative experience of every Christian throughout history. Most of us are just regular people trying to live faithfully in a messy world. So why does this even matter? Why am I pushing back on this language so hard? Because in seeing the devil under every doily, we are actually holding ourselves back from spiritual growth. It keeps us focused on the negative things in life and convinces us to over-spiritualize them into some cosmic test instead of recognizing them as the little speed bumps in a normal life that they are. When you stub your toe, I'm sorry, it's not a demonic attack. When you have a bad day at work, that is not spiritual warfare. When you struggle with temptation, that is not necessarily the devil. It might just be your own human desires and weaknesses doing what they naturally do. And here's the really insidious part. When we blame every little thing on the devil, we rob ourselves of agency and responsibility. We externalize our struggles instead of dealing with the internal issues that are actually there. We turn normal human challenges into these melodramatic spiritual battles, which makes us feel important, but it doesn't actually help us grow. There's a better way than that to live. Instead of looking for the devil in every frustration, what if we looked for the ways that we can see God at work? What if the delay that made you late was not a demonic attack, but actually an opportunity to practice patience? What if the discouragement that you felt wasn't spiritual warfare, but your body telling you that you needed a little extra rest? What if the temptation that you struggled with was not the devil targeting you, but a signal that it's time to develop some healthier patterns or address underlying needs, or maybe even go to therapy? This isn't about denying the existence of evil, all right? I'm not pretending like spiritual opposition isn't real. I'm just trying to give us a realistic, normal understanding of how life actually works. Most of what happens to us is just life. Normal, mundane, human life with all of its challenges and frustrations. And you know what? That is okay. We don't need to be in some epic spiritual battle every day in order for our lives to matter to God. You don't need to be personally targeted by the devil to have a meaningful faith. So here's my encouragement to you today. Stop giving the devil credit for things that he didn't do. Stop over-spiritualizing normal human experiences. Stop seeing yourselves as the protagonist in some cosmic drama where every minor inconvenience is a spiritual attack. The devil doesn't care about you. And that means you're free. You are free to just live your life, deal with the challenges as they come, and focus on the ways that God is actually present and active in the ordinary rhythms of your days. And that's not less spiritual. It's more honest. And honestly, it's a lot more peaceful. I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the most ridiculous things you have ever heard blamed on the devil? And how has your understanding of spiritual warfare changed over time? Let's talk in the comments.